To understand the role of pressure and its links to performance in the workplace, we use what we call the pressure performance curve. So let's have a look at this. So as you can see, we've got pressure along the bottom axis. That's increasing towards the right hand side. Pressure from anywhere, inside or outside of work, from different sources. It doesn't need to just be sheer work volume. It could be your work relationships. It could be the amount of control that you have. All those things moving you towards the right. Then we've got performance, which is improving as we go up the curve. And what it does is it leaves us with three distinct zones that we see people operating within. So the middle zone is what we call the healthy high performance zone. That's where we want everyone to be for the majority of the time. We want you feeling healthy, happy, your well-being's optimised and you're performing to your highest levels. Now importantly, you'll notice that there's not a complete lack of pressure in that middle zone. It's halfway along the curve. And there's a reason for that. Pressure can be a real positive thing. We need pressure to get us out of bed in the morning, to give us a sense of purpose, to motivate us. But when it's in the middle, it's in the right balance. We're able to deal with it. You'll see there's a few subzones as well. So right in the middle of the curve, we have what we call the comfort zone, which sometimes gets quite a bad reputation. People don't want to be seen as being in their comfort zone. But actually, you may be doing some really difficult things, some skilled activities, but you're very able to do them, so that's fine. To the right hand side of that, we get the stretch zone. And the stretch zone is where your highest levels of performance come. It's when you push yourself out of your comfort zone in short periods and you're able to perform at very high levels. But it's important that that's balanced with what we call active recovery. And active recovery isn't the same as simple relaxation. It's not just putting your feet up on the desk. Instead, it's what can you do to recharge your batteries. Maybe it's connecting with a work colleague. Maybe it's doing something that you really enjoy. Doing something that allows you to recharge those batteries after a period when you may have faced excessive pressure. The areas that we're trying to steer clear of are the ones on the right and the left of this curve. So on the right hand side we have stress, strain, burnout. That's when pressure has exceeded your ability to deal with it. That's when you feel like actually you're being pushed to the limits. You may be able to sustain this for short periods of time, but the issue is your performance can drop off quite dramatically if you spend too long there. And it not only affects your performance but also your health. And then the other side of the curve that we see is an area that's called bore out or rust out, it's sometimes referred to. And this affects people in one of two main ways. The first way is when you come to work and you've literally got nothing to do. You're completely bored, you've got nothing on a to-do list. That can be incredibly demotivating if you found yourself in that situation. There's probably some people watching this thinking, that would be nice, that never happens to me. But actually, you can fall foul to bore out as well. And the way that happens is, you may have a lot on. You may have a full to-do list, lots of emails to catch up on. But are you particularly inspired, enthusiastic, challenged by what you're doing? Perhaps not. And if that becomes the case, it can become that disengagement. It can again affect your performance and even your health. So the reason we use the pressure performance curve, there's a number of different reasons. The first one is about checking in as an individual. Where are you spending most of your time on this curve? Now one thing you'll notice is that you'll fluctuate. Okay, you'll have good days, you'll have bad days, sometimes you feel a little more stressed out, other times you've got time to reflect. But when you're asking yourself, on the whole, maybe over the period of a few days or a few weeks or even a month, where am I spending time on this curve? That's important to think about, because if you're trying to live your life on either the right hand side or the left hand side of the curve, it can become a real issue. Is there something you can do to move yourself towards the middle? The other reason why we show this is as a catalyst for a conversation. So we want to encourage people to be looking out for those around them. What about the individuals within your team? Where do you think they are on this curve? Can you have a conversation? Can you spot the telltale signs that they may be moving from comfort to stretch, but then dipping into strain and potential burnout? The best you can do is to try and be as proactive as possible with this pressure performance curve, to check in with yourself and others and have the conversations around pressure and the impact it's having on you as early as you possibly can. We've got a worksheet that you can try to ask yourself a few questions around this, and we hope that you're able to share that with people in your workplace as well.